everybody. Welcome to the Caprock Life Podcast, the official podcast of Caprock Home Health, which has been in business over 42 years. We are the largest family-owned home health company in Texas. Our mission is to keep our clients safe, comfortable, and independent in their home. We are a values-based company, and our core values spell the acronym DIRECT, because our core values direct how we behave. Our core values are drive, integrity, respect, empowerment, compassion, and teamwork. Our standard of excellence: work hard, be nice, have fun. Let's get into it. Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the Caprock Life Podcast. This is episode 2 of our 2026 series built around our theme of why not us, why not now? In episode 1, we introduced our 3 priorities for the year. Today, we're going to focus on the first one and maybe the boldest one, which is break everything. This is a fun one. So now, before anybody panics, this is not about chaos. It's about clarity and courage and creating continuous improvement. So, Carlos, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Glad to be back.
Heck yeah, we're glad to have you. So, quick question to kick us off. What's something in business or leadership that you once thought was non-negotiable that you later realized absolutely was negotiable?
Man, that's a good question. I would say that you had to have all the answers to be a leader, right? To be a reliable leader. And to me, honestly, that's a myth. Felt like you had to master everything in order to lead people, in order for you to be influential with them. But I've always heard, learned, and now can absolutely relate to this comment that it's like if you're the master of everything, you're a master of nothing. Mm-hmm. And it took me a little while to really fully understand that, but it is. It's trying to master everything. Everybody has their strengths, right? Everybody has their passionate pieces that drives them to learning, to studying, to being engaged, right, in certain topics. And everybody has their strengths and everybody has their weaknesses. But I think the big thing is understanding your strengths, right? Maximize yourself there. Study, enhance your education in that, and create opportunities for you to create that influence in things that you do know that drive you. But also just the same, understand your deficits. What are your weaknesses? And then identify and surround yourself with those people. Build your teams around that. Build your conversation groups around that. Project groups, whatever the opportunity might be. Find the people that fill those gaps with their expertise, right, in that area and allow them to come and create that value. I think the big part of being a leader is being able to create that team and maximize on their strengths, giving them a platform to really perform, practice, and continue to enhance their drive through identifying and using their strengths. Even though it's your deficit, it doesn't mean that you're a weak leader. It means that you actually identify where you need assistance with and place those people around you in order to enhance that. So I think that's where Working Genius comes in really well. It really opened up my eyes with that and identified that all of us have an aspect, right, in what it measures. But some things drive us and some things just frustrate us. That doesn't mean you can't do it. You just probably won't do it very well. So find the people that fill those in and find the people that do it well. And I think you really enhance your ability as a leader. So no longer do I feel like I have to learn everything, know everything. I just have to know what I need, know what I want, and find the people to help maximize the opportunity to get there.
Yeah, love that. Yeah. Frees you to act because you could wait 30 more years to
absolutely
before you know it all.
You guys will be waiting forever, and it just, no, it's messy.
Yeah. Love that. Okay, well, let's jump into what break everything really means. So, Carlos, you want to unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, so starting, use the phrase, right, that I think is impactful is what got us here won't get us there, right? And it helps to really identify the need for change, for progressive change, actually always changing, progressive improvement. That's, I believe, how we need to operate. And so that's where this priority really comes in to open our eyes to that need. it doesn't mean disrespecting the past. It doesn't mean disrespecting what people have put in place, because what we have put in place, or certainly what exists today, probably did work. It worked very well to get us past these mountains that we have to climb, that get us past the hard times, got us through the hard times, and allowed us to enjoy the good times. But it's like I said, it's probably not something that we can execute and use to get us going forward. And it also doesn't mean to blame people, because we have a system in place and it doesn't work today. Doesn't mean I'm blaming them for not understanding it. Understand what was needed for the future. And I don't want to put the blame game in why we weren't prepared, right? Or why we're trying to change everything that we need to now to get to where we need to go. There's not going to be any finger pointing in this, right? It's not to identify the people or the things we put in place. It's to identify how to take what's already in place and make it better. But we're also not changing just for change's sake. It doesn't make sense to constantly change without a focus, or to constantly change just because we're bored. We don't have time to change, just to rock the boat. But we do have an expectation and a focus to create improvement. So it doesn't mean, but what it does mean is that we need to consistently question systems, right? We have systems in place, but we have regulations that change. We have patient needs that change. We have people that change. Generational approaches, technology improvements. There's so many things that create opportunities for improvement that we need to identify these and really question what we have in place and how we can make it better, how we can streamline things. And then always challenge assumptions, right? Assumption's a bad word. So never assume that just because it used to work is going to continue to work. How are we going to assume the worst in the future and prepare ourselves to take on those challenges? And really letting go of habits that no longer serve the mission is we have to be adaptable, right? That's a big focus, I think, of my end. I know I challenge myself always being adaptable. Don't ever get complacent. Be happy, enjoy your wins, enjoy your successes, but question how to do it better, right? Always. And they can be tiny changes, they can be big changes, but we always need to be pushing that. So we always want to honor what's happened in the past, what's been established, those that put the work in to help us get beyond that. But then we also need to understand that they ideally can't live the way they lived before, right? These changes, these processes, these systems. We really have to challenge it and get ourselves ready for the future. Let's look 5, 10, 15 years down the road. I know that's hard in this industry, but we also know what's coming. Let's use our experiences, understand the trends, and let's take that and build teams that can help us identify opportunities for improvement.
Yeah.
So if we don't push it and we don't make it a priority, then we won't practice it. So I think we need to.
Yeah, and that hits on. I know you went to Jim Collins recently. Got to visit him in Boulder and do an amazing kind of intimate team workshop.
Yeah.
And one of the concepts you brought back that you challenged me to unpack more, I know you're wrestling with it, is this idea of preserve the core and stimulate progress. So it's this both and concept of we do want to hold on to the things that have made us successful up to this point. That's that preserving the core. Yeah. And those are some non-negotiables, our core values,
absolutely,
our mission statement. But then there's this idea of stimulating progress, and we acknowledge that to stay relevant in the healthcare game, we have to stimulate progress. We've got to innovate and adapt.
Absolutely.
So y'all are going to hear a lot more about that idea of preserve the core and stimulate progress, but just wanted to kind of tie that in because it's going to be a big part of what we're pushing for, and I think it ties nicely with breaking everything.
Absolutely.
So yeah, again, healthcare complexities increased, as we know. Staffing, regulations, our compliance expectations, they've all gotten harder. A lot of times old approaches create friction. And so, if something feels harder than it should be, that's usually a signal. It's not a failure. It may have worked well in the past, but again, systems, processes, operations evolve. So if you feel friction in something, that's potentially a great area to look to go and break, and then we can make it better.
Absolutely.
All right. So why this matters now? Why does break everything matter in this era of Caprock home health that we're in? Well, really, we want to kind of create urgency without fear here. This isn't a fear-based thing we're pushing of like, oh my gosh, we're going to get left behind. But we do acknowledge we've got to be proactive to move things forward. So really, we want to create lean and efficient operations. We want to maximize our tools and our technology. David, who's behind the booth today, sound booth today, has already helped us in so many amazing ways to make sure we're maximizing the tools and technology to be able to ensure our workforce has what they need to do their job exceptionally well. And then a big focus this year too is reducing waste. That's a part of breaking everything, and we're looking at that at all levels. Corporate has really tightened down our budget this year. We're looking to be more fiscally responsible and steward Caprock's money well. We're looking to reduce waste at the local office as far as reducing overtime, both for our staff and attendants. And a lot of that's not to take money away from people. It's to live up to our value that we believe in a work-life balance, and that we're a family-based business. Most of us have families or loved ones we want to spend time with. We don't want you working 80 hours a week. And so looking to reduce overtime so that you can have a work-life balance. And then also just where are redundant steps in a lot of our processes that we can look to eliminate or consolidate. So many examples of how we can look to break things moving forward. I like this quote that we've been tossing around a few times, but it says breaking things isn't about doing more, it's about doing better. I think that's impactful.
Absolutely. It's all about doing better, not just processes and the way that we operate, but also our people, right? We want to create opportunities for people to skill up, myself included. One of them, AI scares everybody. The unknown, there's absolutely opportunities and advancements in this technology that we absolutely can help. Now, there's so much out there. There's no reason to chase and pursue everything to skill up in the entire industry of AI. Some of it's scary, some of it's not applicable, some of it's nonsense. But there are things that we absolutely can do, AI being one of them, allowing ourselves to find out how we can utilize that as a new team member, right? Scale ourselves up to become more efficient, to become better, but then also find out what the needs are. As we break things apart, we're going to find what's broken, not just with the system, but then through things like our training, right? Education, development of our individuals. What is it that we're missing that we need to place that piece into to enhance this process? We're improving our training. That's one of the areas. We're going to make it more accessible. We're going to expand the expertise we have across the company and make them a part of it. But also through this break everything, as we pull things apart and figure out how to do them better, we're going to identify areas that we can pour into people to help them skill up a little bit more, whether it's from technology, whether it's just project management. That's a pretty big topic to pull apart. But we can simplify it just based on instances that we pull things apart and help everybody identify that they do play a role, right? They're going to play a role in the improvement. Everybody's going to have a place in it, whether it's producing, right, the problem, we'll call it a problem or the issue that they feel can be improved along with that solution. We want them to be a part of that process. Excited to actually have that, because there's not one person here that's going to go in and correct an entire process when it impacts so many others and how they do their job. Plus, if it's not something we do every day, we shouldn't. Right, we should question how to do it better, but have people tell us how. Right, tell us what's working, tell us what doesn't, and look to kind of shape those pieces. So certainly want everybody to understand their importance and the value in this. And it can, like you said, it can be a little scary. It's not meant to be chaotic. It really is meant to be a standard practice, right? Making it a priority this year. If it doesn't make the list next year for a priority, it doesn't mean we don't still chase it, right? I just want it to become a standard practice.
Yeah, and what an exciting time to be at Caprock. I'll tell you, if you feel stagnant at all in your career, or like you've hit a ceiling, well, now's the time to bring ideas forward, bring solutions, and what a cool way to kind of revitalize your career. And if you're worried about getting left behind, I've read a lot of articles with the idea of like, if you're fearful of AI taking your job, it's like, what can you do to help bulletproof your career? And it's going to take upskilling, some of the things you talked about, training, being willing to step out and get uncomfortable to learn something new. But there's going to be opportunities here. What we do is very human in nature. So while AI is important, we're going to need people, great
Absolutely.
people to
Absolutely.
do it. So what does this look like practically, this idea of breaking everything? We want to make it tangible for y'all. So a few examples of breaking everything. One is asking why multiple times. Why is such a powerful question. It's such a clarifying question. And a lot of times I think of toddlers asking why, and sometimes it can get annoying because it's like, why, Daddy? Because I told you so.
Yeah.
And really here with Break Everything, we want people to ask those why questions. It's not an attack on a person or a process. It's just simply questioning why. Why do we do it this way? Is there a better way to do it? So ask why often. Breaking everything could be that we simplify our documentation, whether that's our nursing assessments. I know we're revisiting our class documentation, our nursing assessments we do there. We're looking at improving our onboarding and simplifying that down to a shorter time, less paperwork handed out where people just feel like they're getting blasted with too much information. So many areas to simplify. Rethinking how we share communications. So the podcast is one way we know is relevant to today's workforce to get communication out to people. So rethinking our communication flow, not just relying on email, thinking everybody's sitting at their desk waiting for that next email to hit their inbox. And then this one's huge, testing small changes instead of waiting for perfect solutions. Yep. And I love that. That kind of hits on what you shared used to think was non-negotiable, now is, and that's like you don't have to know everything before you proceed. Absolutely. So everybody in their role can kind of be a little beta tester and experiment with, what if I just tweak this process a little bit? What would the outcome be?
Absolutely.
So you don't need permission to notice friction. Like that's our core value at play of empowerment, of we're inviting you in to notice the friction, to ask the why, and then to do these little micro tests and experiment to see, is there a better way to do this?
Yeah. So with that, the statement to everybody that's listening and or reads this is, do not wait on us, right? We're wanting to tackle a few things that we're identifying. Obviously, there's certainly so many people and so many things that we can't tackle without creating complete chaos or disruption, unnecessary disruption, because we want to create disruption. But we also want people to do it themselves. Where I would love to have pods, groups, committees, whatever it is, in every single location that's identified something that they want to change, that they want to tackle, and look to create opportunities to evaluate this independently, right? And then bring it back to the team, to the training team, to your operational team, HR, whoever it might be or fall under, and say like, hey, we've this great idea. We've evaluated these issues. I think that we can do it better this way. It's going to help us. It's going to help the individuals do their job better. It's going to help us to get more efficient, and then honestly something that we can create and disperse to everybody, right? That's the idea. So it is going to be organized around teamwork. There's not one person that really can do this. There might be one position jobs, right? But the tasks, the impacts that they have on the team, the mission, everything, it goes way beyond just their individual job. So again, do not wait. Create some ideas, submit them to us. You want some help, you want to organize your own team and committee to identify an aspect of what it is you do within your job to change it. Start, right? Get started. Don't ask for permission. Let's identify some ways to prove it, and then just put some teams together to really enhance it and create a new change.
Yeah. There you have it, straight from the mouth of the CEO, inviting you to innovate and break things and not have to wait for permission to do it, which is pretty incredible.
Absolutely. You guys are doing the work, right? And you guys know what's best. We may have some great ideas, doesn't mean they're best, and they won't be without testing. They won't be without communication. But we would love for things to be brought to us and for us to even change our schedules to enhance and evaluate something that's going to be impactful for your job. Yeah,
love that. Well, let's talk about real quick kind of some guardrails, things we don't break, some non-negotiables that Caprock does have. And again, this goes back to that Jim Collins idea of preserving the core. These are things that will not change with time. Right. So a couple of them are our core values, our mission, compassion, integrity, respect, these basic human needs that we all crave and need to survive and thrive. And lastly, our commitment to our clients, our patients, and each other.
Absolutely.
So regardless of what we break, those are our non-negotiables, those things that we will not break.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, we will break the systems, like I said, but we need to have a strong focus on not breaking the trust.
yeah.
Right? This is why we have to do this together. We're going to challenge processes. We will challenge people, right, to be a part of the solution, but we don't want this to be a negative challenge with people, right? We want to bring everybody to the table to make this better. Let's take on a challenge. Let's get uncomfortable, right, for a little bit. That's where we grow. That's the adage, you don't grow unless you change. You can't grow unless you're uncomfortable. Let's do it. Let's get uncomfortable. But again, not for the sake of just change. It's for the sake of improvement, right? Continuous progressive improvement is what we're chasing.
Yeah. Love it. Well, look, final call to action as we look to wrap today. So as you listen to this episode, here's your challenge for the week. Identify one thing in your role that feels harder than it should, and then ask, why do we do it this way? And then bring one idea forward, no matter how small. So identify the thing that feels harder, that friction, that pain point. Ask, why do we do it this way? And then bring an idea, a solution forward. We've always been big here about don't just complain to complain, but also what are you going to do about it? What's the solution that you have? And I know you've all got great solutions. We just got to unlock them and bring them forward.
Yep, absolutely. As we said before, progress doesn't require permission, right? But it does require ownership. And extreme ownership as one of ours that I'm sure we'll talk about again in some more detail. We keep reiterating these, but this is a part of ownership of your position. Identifying what your need is, but then also enhancing it by identifying ways to do it better, right? Just because we've always done it that way doesn't mean it has to continue, especially if there's a way to do it better. But we're excited to learn those things. We're excited to take them, to test them, and then take them to everybody once we know that they do learn, so we can just improve, right, what it is that we can control. There's a lot of things, obviously, we're regulated by. Documentation is extensive, as annoying as that might be. We know that exists, right? But how can we change the way to do it better? We can't change the form, the document, the information that goes on it itself, but how do we obtain it? How do we translate it? How do we produce these documents? Let's find better ways.
Yeah. I love it. Well, we're wrapping up today. We looked at priority number 1 for 2026, and we unpacked the why behind break everything. And that's the challenge. Break it. Look, identify the pain points, bring it forward, bring a solution. We're inviting you to do that. We're empowering you to do that. We're imploring you to do that. And man, if each department, if each team member identifies things that are friction points and then comes up with solutions, we're going to have an incredible outcome to 2026.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see.
I can't either.
Yeah. Well, in our next episode, we're going to pivot a little bit from our priorities, and we're actually going to have a special guest on. And that's a vision for 2026, is we're going to have multiple special guests on the podcast. So stay tuned for our next episode, where we will have Hillary Martinez, our Chief Financial Officer, on. She's a fireball. She's going to bring it.
She will.
And raise the energy on this thing. So we're excited to have her.
She will. I'm excited to have her too. I'm excited for you guys to get a different face on here. Obviously, I could be on all of them if I wanted to. I don't want to. You guys don't want me to. We need to change, but I certainly want to come and share some important things. But we've got some great people here that have lots of stuff to share, right? Lots of important things to talk about. If anything, make it a lot more fun. So hopefully we'll hear from you guys too. And you guys will want to come and be a part of it. You don't have to be present. I think we've got the technology to bring you on through, I guess, phone, Teams, whatever that process might be. Opportunity to engage with us, the team, whoever you'd like to. Let's change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Well, thank you for your time today,
Absolutely.
Carlos. Yeah. And until next time, ask the question and challenge the process. Why not us? Why not now? Y'all have a great day. Thanks for listening.